Hi, I'm Christy. Today I want to talk to you about exercising as a caregiver. Exercise. Did you shudder when I said that word? I did. It's another area that we all know we need to make a part of our lives on a regular basis. And many of us know that the form of exercise we use can vary from person to person and still be completely effective. But let me ask you the tough question. Is it truly a part of your life? Okay, I need to be completely honest here. I have never been one to exercise regularly. Yes, I played outside regularly as a kid, but unless I had a specific reason to exercise regularly, like part of my grade for PE one quarter in school, I wasn't about to exercise on my own. Fortunately, I was a healthy weight. This caught up to me though when I became an adult. I gained some weight in college, and over the years I continued to gain and occasionally lose weight. Much of my adult life has been in the morbidly obese category, medically speaking. Once I became a mom, the weight only went up from there until Sean was in school. I did lose a bit of weight when Sean was in elementary school, and then I plateaued again. While I was happy with the weight loss, it wasn't enough to get me out of the morbidly obese category. About 3.5 years ago, my doctor wanted to put me on a medication I had determined I was not going to go on. I knew from previous experience that if I got my weight down a little bit, I wouldn't need the medication. So I determined to lose some weight. It took me about 6 months to figure out what worked for me, but I lost enough weight to not need the medication. The happy bonus, though, was that I was now on a roll and had figured out what I needed to do to lose weight. I kept working at it, losing slowly but consistently. After about 2 years, I finally reached a healthy weight. So much so that my new doctor, who has never seen me overweight, was impressed and said that she has no concerns about my health from a weight perspective. A year and a half later, I've still maintained that weight loss, and I'm even continuing to lose a pound or two here and there. The scale still doesn't say what I want it to say, at least in my mind, but I'm content. I like the way I look for probably the first time in my adult life. I'm healthier physically, but I've also changed my mindset, so I'm healthier emotionally and mentally as well. Again, let me be completely honest here. Yes, I do exercise regularly now, multiple times a week, but I still hate exercising. It still isn't fun, and if I'm not careful, it is really easy to talk myself out of a workout. And that's the big reason I titled this post the way I did, How to Not Hate to Exercise. I'm hoping that my experiences will help you. I love this quote I found from caregiverslibrary.org. You can find a link to it over on the blog at www.havenofhopeforme.com. This originally posted in October of 2019. They say, quote, "No one is too out of shape, too tired, or too busy to benefit from a regular exercise program," end quote. Well, that pretty much takes care of any excuse we could try to come up with. But speaking from my experience, I have to wholeheartedly agree. Extension.org starts their article with this fact. Quote, "The Surgeon General advises at least 2.5 hours of aerobic, meaning with oxygen, exercise each week. 10 minutes a day is a good place to start," end quote. Now, I like the idea of starting with 10 minutes a day. It's a small enough time period that seems doable for most people. And it's not so long that if you're out of shape, you don't think you can last long enough to complete it. In fact, I found 3 other articles that I linked to in the blog that all mention starting with just 10 minutes a day. Several of these articles also include suggestions of exercises you can do to start working out again, regardless of your fitness level. So, now that we all agree, again, at least in theory, that we need to exercise, what can that look like in real life? As I mentioned above, the articles that I linked to give suggestions that seem like a realistic starting place to me, the things I would have considered when I started my journey. But let me share with you what I actually did. I started by walking laps in my house, drove my husband crazy. I knew that 10,000 steps a day is what most experts say is the daily goal for active people. But I was so far below that and was dealing with a lot of aches and pains. I didn't want to hurt more from working out because I already hurt enough just going through my day as it was. So I started with something like 4,000 steps a day and committed to walking as long as it took me to get that number. I didn't worry about how fast I walked, just that my activity tracker said 4,000 before I went to bed. Honestly, That also meant that the daily activity that I did was included in those 4,000 steps, because I usually worked out or did my laps in the evenings shortly before bed. So I wanted that number when I climbed into bed to say 4,000 or more. But at that point, I didn't really care. 4,000, we're good. As the months progressed, I slowly upped the daily goal until I was at 9,000 steps a day. I can't remember if I ever made 10,000 steps a day my goal or not. It took me probably 6 to 12 months to get to 9,000 steps. I don't remember for sure because I never made it a conscious decision to, I'm going to go lose weight or I'm going to start exercising. So I don't have exact dates here. But at some point, a little bit after I'd done that, I got brave and I tried the elliptical machine we had at home. Now, I had been afraid of it because I didn't want to hurt more from working out. But when I didn't hurt from working out on that, I started doing that regularly. And then I burned myself out on it. I've been on it a few times in the past few months, but it's still a struggle with boredom and just it seems too hard to me a lot of times. And so I'm back to walking laps in my house. Okay, I'm much more quick at it than I am, and occasionally I even kind of try to jog them. That might even be pushing it some, but it's working for me. So how does all of this apply to you? That's a great question. Here's a few suggestions that I have. Find an activity that you enjoy and can do repeatedly for the long haul. At the same time, be willing to try something new if you start to get bored or start dreading working out. Start small. Seriously, even 5 minutes a day is better than nothing. If you can do 10 minutes 3 times a day, there you've got your 30 minutes a day that's recommended. Give yourself grace if you miss a day or you don't hit your goal for a day or 2. Life happens. With my current schedule, I know there's at least 1 day a week that I won't get a workout in. That's okay. I still try to get my goal number of days in around that day. But don't give up. Don't let a missed day stop you. Keep challenging yourself. And finally, find someone to be an accountability partner or maybe to work out with. Having a friend along always makes things better. So my question for you this week is this. Do you exercise regularly? What does that look like in your life? Any tips, tricks, or hacks that you'd like to share? I would love to hear them. You can leave me a comment below or you can leave me a comment over on the blog. Again, that's at www.havenofhopeforme.com. This originally posted in October of 2019. As always, I'd appreciate it if you'd share this with anyone you think would find it helpful. I'd love to help as many families as I can. Sign up lists are over on the blog. Signing up lets you know of all new content as soon as it's released. Huffing and puffing regularly, even when I don't want to, so I can continue to say that life is good and there is never a dull moment.